And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Do you not want me in your country as a tourist? And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, no, I don't. I'd rather you go back to your own country.
Huh? At the end, and I'm okay. Yeah. No
Thank you.
No problem, bro.
All right. So what's up, man? What's your name?
My name is Ethan.
Ethan? Oh,
Yeah.
Talk,
I gotta talk into it.
yeah, talk into it just a little
Okay.
bit. All right.
Yeah, my name is Ethan Means. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
in the United States.
What brings you here to Cambodia?
Really just traveling. I really desired, over the last probably 5 years, I desired to see like the world, and I wanted to start traveling when I still had enough power, energy to get around good.
What was the first time that it clicked to you like that you wanted to venture outside of America?
I've always wanted to travel, and when I was married and I was raising my children, you can't do it. So divorce kind of helped, but and my kids growing up, you're not as tied down. I'm not as tied down as I was in my early 40s and my 30s when I really was thinking about this stuff then. So I'm 52 now. I'm free, so I'm traveling.
I'm gonna come in the frame with you. Why do you think the passport culture is not that prevalent in the black community?
Because, well, a lot of people aspire to do things that they really exposed to. Like, I think I had an edge being as though I was a mainstream Muslim most of my life, 30 plus years, maybe 35 years, because I accepted Islam when I was 17 years old. Brothers in the community always had passports, even the passport brothers thing been out in the community with Muslim people, so-called black people, because a lot of brothers back in the 90s and the early 2000s were going to like Morocco and mostly Morocco. A lot of brothers back then had wives from Morocco. So like people always understood and knew that it was a benefit to have a passport. I knew the only way that I could go to Saudi Arabia, I could go to Egypt, wherever I wanted to go, I had to have a passport.
They asked me to leave Thailand. You could go every 90 days and renew your passport, renew your visa, sorry. And so we did, and I did that for 3 years. And one time we went and to renew the passport, and the guy goes, well, I'll give you 7 days. And he used to give you 3 months. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, why? And he said, well, you've been here too long. Why are you here? And I'm like, well, I'm in Thailand because it's beautiful, and we like it here, and we have a little cottage, and we have a beautiful view, and we drive around in our scooters, and we have a real life. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Do you not want me in your country as a tourist? And he looked me dead in the eye, and he said, no, I don't. I'd rather you go back to your own country. And I was floored. So I thought, well, f*** me. What am I going to do?
That is crazy.
I had never seen Angkor Wat. I thought, well, I'll go and I'll look and see what Angkor Wat is like. Uh-huh. And when we landed here, it was the old airport, and they used to pick you up in these open-air tuk-tuks. Uh-huh. And they were like carriages that the horses used to be in front of, but now they have a motorcycle instead of a horse. And I felt like the Queen of England. I was like, well, look at this. And I was doing this, and people were laughing and waving back. And I fell in love with the place. It's low. No building can be higher than X because of the...
Can't be higher than the temple.
Because of the temple. And I fell in love with the place. And the people were just delightful. And they were loving and kind, and and they always asked me, and I broke my hip the second day I was here, and so I had this whole la to go through. And as I healed, I would walk past people, and they would say, "How are you today?" And you're doing so much better, and look at you, you don't have crutches anymore. And tuk-tuk drivers would give me free rides because they would say, "Oh, it's going to rain, get in my tuk-tuk, I take you home." It was a magic to me, because in Thailand, all they want is money, and they don't want you here. One time I said to a person who was not a Thai, who was just visiting, I said, "The Thai don't need us here.
It's saturated.
They don't want us here. They have their own culture, they have their own music, they have their own way of life, and all they really want is our money."
Yeah.
And if we just land, give them a wad of money, get back in our planes and go home, they would much more prefer that.
The things that he spoke about with Cambodia, y'all heard this on the channel so many times. This is the most pleasant, kind country of people I ever met in my life. It's a relaxing culture. And like he said, man, these people are very nice. They genuine. They gave him a ride because he broke his hip. They kept talking to him. It's a sense of community. It's about to rain out here, so I'm finna ask a couple of more questions. What are some key habits or factors you had to unlearn when you came overseas, like from the Western culture? You know how sometimes we got to watch our back from violence. We don't trust people. What did you have to unlearn in order to align with this culture in Cambodia?
Well, I mean, I've unlearned a lot of different things, not just to come to Cambodia. I've unlearned a lot of things coming out of mainstream religion. I've made the most changes. You know, I'm more accepting of people. Mm-hmm. I still don't trust people, but the more that I've gotten into, like, let's say, I don't smoke and I don't drink anymore. So, something you said earlier, you said that when you stopped drinking and smoking, your intuition got stronger. Yeah. And really, I never could explain it, but guess what? That's it. So, like, I'm more aware of people than I used to be. I'm more understanding. It's just so much. So I was ready to come to Cambodia before I came to Cambodia.
The best way to win a fight is to not be there when it takes place. And when you're not high and you're not drunk, you see the fight just about to happen and you walk away.
Yeah. And
that is the key to sobriety. I love you guys more than you can imagine.
Say likewise.
And knowing that you guys are clean and sober even makes it even more fun for me.
Wow. Y'all hear that?
It's hard to find clean and sober people.
It is.
Yeah.
Wherever you go. But especially here, because beer's 50 cents.
We gonna move to another setting, y'all. I think it's finna rain, so
go over to Brown's.
What do you advise to the youth in the streets of Chicago, Philadelphia, LA, any street to where we wasn't handed anything or we had to get it from miles away, and while our peers had like a head start? From your experience, what would you advise them?
If I'm advising the youth, I'm gonna speak as if I'm speaking to one of my children. If I was to advise one of my children about how they should wire themselves to go overseas, first, you have to have some discipline. You have to be responsible for yourself. Yeah. Because when you're traveling overseas, you're going to be by yourself, and nobody's going to be responsible for you but you. Also, you have to have your mannerisms in order. It's good to have good character and good manners, especially when you're going overseas, because the customs of these people is not necessarily the customs of where you come from.
That's true.
So, exercising and having good manners is a good weapon to have. Maybe I shouldn't call it a weapon, but it's just a good tool. Tool is better than weapon. And in the process of being successful at getting here, you're going to need some determination. You're going to be able to think with your own mind. Only a strong individual is going to partake in this journey. Do the block thing? No, it takes courage, man. Your mind has to be. You got to be sharp. Be a good person, but be alert. There's nothing wrong with being your awareness being sharp, because when you go overseas, everybody's not on your side. Everybody's not nice. Just smiling faces tell lies. So don't forget the base of your common sense. If it don't feel right, then it ain't right. As an American, we are aggressive people.
Yeah.
I would say, just if you want 10, turn it down to like 7 or 8. You know, to come to Canada, turn it down to like 7 or 8. You be all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I believe, because I had to unlearn a lot of stuff too. What are some? I want you to let these people know what are some pros and cons, because everything ain't always, peaches and cream. Like really, like your top 2 pros, your top 2 cons.
The energy here is more laid back than where I come from. I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm pretty sure Philadelphia ain't no different than Chicago. But I'm just saying, I come from an environment where people don't even speak to you.
Yeah.
Like they look at you weird for speaking. The pros of here, you're able to relax more. The cons would be like, the language barrier is in Cambodia. The language barrier is deeper than maybe probably other places like Philippines or Vietnam. They speak more English, but here the language barrier is deep. I get frustrated sometimes dealing with the money and stuff like that. But you'll work that out the longer you stay.
We got to talk about the food, man. The cheap prices of the food and the drinks. I told y'all about that. How was the food to you?
In my opinion, I'm going to tell you, this is my opinion. The food is hit and miss.
Yeah.
It's just like anywhere else. Some places cook better than others. I mean, the food just tastes better than others. And you could taste the quality in it, in the taste of it. So, I mean, but the food is good. Cambodian food is sweet. To me, it tastes. A lot of the food is sweet.
That's true.
Even the beef stew and the food, they like they stuff sweet here.
That is true.
So watch out for that. Not watch out for if you need to, because I gotta keep track of my sugar.
I feel
yeah. I'm 52. For the most part, it's pretty good. Like the lock. I like the.
I like the lock good.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the lock. The best food. I mean, the best food that I've gotten here was in Phnom Penh. It was Indian food though. The prices are pretty decent, and food's it's hit and miss.
So I feel you on that. Do you feel like you've been welcomed greatly in this country?
I would say yes, because I was treated right. Even in Phnom Penh, they catfished me on the Airbnb, but it was cool. Yeah, they catfished me. That joint was crazy, but it was okay. They took care of me, and it was on top of a restaurant, so
okay.
They would bring my food to the room. It was cool.
Yeah.
But that joint was like hood, like I was in it, right? But they was cool. I was cool. You know what I'm saying? But the second place that I stayed at in Phnom Penh was a little better. It was on the 15th floor. Had a pool on the porch. Not the porch, the pool on the roof. That was a little better. But now that I've come to Siem Reap, I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to live in Phnom Penh.
Yeah.
If I would live in Cambodia, I would want to live here. This Siem Reap is it's perfect for me.
Perfect. Yeah. It's very relaxing. That's why I'm kind of glad. You like the 10th person to tell me Phnom Penh is more. A lot of locals tell me too it's more hectic, and they'll choose this over. They'll make this the greater over the lesser Phnom Penh. Yeah. So that's about it. What do you want to let these people know? Let me see if it's still recording, because I know it start. We got 50 seconds, so just anything you want to let them know. Let them know as far as motivation or how they can get in your position.
Stay, know yourself. Get to know yourself. Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Try to perfect high attributes. Have good character. Like determination, like being honest and things of that nature. These things that you need to have if you're playing the role as a superhero. A content creator that's traveling and creating content, we like superheroes, but superheroes have a big responsibility to be all of these other high things, like being honest, being strong, being brave. So I would say, if you want to live up to that, then start working on perfecting those things. Okay. And you're not gonna have whether you're creating content on the road and you're traveling or you're just living wherever you at, you're gonna be like one of the best people in your community. Lifting my mindset from the street light. I'm stuck in a routine. Some proud of me. Lifting my mindset from the street light. I'm stuck